A Hong Kong lawmaker is following Donald Trump and RFK Jr.'s footsteps and suggesting that the region add Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. And Kamala Harris's team has met with Ripple, Coinbase, and Andreessen Horowitz, the top three crypto donors in this election cycle. And the US government has moved the $2 billion of Bitcoin it has. Are they about to dump on us like Germany did? And the SEC is being sued over NFTs. This is big. We're going to break it down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin right now. Everyone is waiting for Bitcoin to make its next move up. Right now, we're still seeing a bit of consolidation on the daily RSI, chopping sideways. And look, we could see some sort of correction again. I don't really anticipate that. And the reason being is that this week we're going to hear from Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday. What is the decision with rates? Here's my prediction, and I could be wrong because I don't have a crystal ball, but based on different factors and what we've seen historically, I believe Jerome Powell is going to signal that a cut is coming, possibly in September or in Q4. This will cause the markets to rally because they see cheaper money is on the horizon. However, as we've seen historically, when the Fed truly pivots, we see a crash in the markets. It doesn't happen instantaneously, so don't get me wrong. But if you guys recall, I've shared many charts with you. I've written about it in my newsletter that I believe the blow-off top could happen this year. So it's possible this blow-off top ends in Q4 and then the markets correct heavily. I don't know if that happens. I'm just going to watch this closely. I'm going to watch the charts and the analysis and see what's happening. And I have my plan to take profits. I hope you have your plan to take profits because this thing can move fast and you don't want to be entering the market and not having taken profits. Now, if you don't necessarily care about taking profits, then that's a different story. But just heads up that this could be what we're going to see in the coming days. And here we see the DXY on the daily is finding a little bit of strength, but that could reverse easily on Wednesday based on what Jerome Powell has to say. For example, stating that rates are going to be cut maybe by 25 basis points and it comes in September or later in Q4. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I want to share something here from another analyst who's looking at the Bitcoin chart, seeing a descending broadening wedge, which is basically one of the chart patterns that you look for, and that could lead to a breakout upward. So he says Bitcoin is in the process of breaking out of a descending broadening wedge to the upside, which has been in the making for 5 months now. If this happens, then nothing should stand in the way of a price target of around $90,000. He says, imagine what altcoins will do then. So we shall see, my friends. Lots of things hanging in the balance here. And like I said, we'll see what Jerome Powell has to say. Now, things are still bullish overall. There's still a lot of adoption here. Matt Hogan of Bitwise, he's a frequent guest on the podcast, says, it's 10 a.m. on a Monday. Bitcoin is trading at 69K, and I've already done a presentation to a $100 billion plus advisory firm. It's going to be a great week. So all of these ETF issuers are going out pitching these different folks on Wall Street and different firms across the country to have them buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and the different ETFs. And we know the mass awareness and education campaign is happening for RIAs and wealth managers. So more capital will flow into the market. So this is all bullish. And once again, watch the charts closely, watch what Jerome Powell has to say this week and have a plan. Now, Hong Kong lawmaker advocates for including Bitcoin in financial reserves following Trump's speech. A bit of game theory playing out here, right, folks? No one wants to get left behind. So Johnny NG, I don't know how to pronounce, I apologize, a member of the Hong Kong Legislative Council, said he will start conversations with different stakeholders to explore possibilities for including Bitcoin in the region's financial services. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has promised to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve if reelected in November. Now, RFK Jr. also said something similar at the Bitcoin conference this weekend. So folks, I've often talked about game theory on this podcast and understanding how the mindset works here. And it takes one player, one domino to fall, and then the others fall, right? So we saw it with the Bitcoin ETF. When the United States issued the Bitcoin ETF, then all of a sudden Hong Kong did it, right? right? And then London and then the other countries, Thailand and so forth. So get ready. I think we're going to see this narrative pick up steam. And even if it doesn't happen this cycle, folks, it starts the dialogue. It gets the ball rolling, and we could see that happen next cycle, 2028 and onward. So this is why I'm playing the macro game with these markets. What the hell Bitcoin's doing right now on the hourly, I don't give a crap because I'm playing the long game and I don't use leverage, and that allows me to make incredible returns by being patient. So I hope you guys understand my perspective. Now, Elon Musk weighed in on Trump's speech over the weekend. We know Elon is a big Trump backer and donates to him and all that. So he's pretty much been on a tear. I know he has some bad feelings towards the Biden administration because they've really, to be fair, they did some not so nice things to Elon, where like they didn't invite him to different events and so forth, which was specifically focused on electric vehicles. I mean, and Tesla is the largest electric vehicle builder in the United States. So anyway, let me share some of the quotes from Elon here. He says, "I'm not going to be promoting crypto, at most in a joking way. If you see me pumping crypto, it's not me. I do think there's some merit in Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptos, and I've sort of got a soft spot for Dogecoin because I like dogs and memes." So we know Elon, he seems he's going to be a bit reserved this cycle versus how he was last cycle. He still hasn't held up his promise of having Tesla accept Bitcoin as payment because he had said that once the Bitcoin mining energy usage crossed 50% for using green energy and so forth, then he would start to accept Bitcoin again, but he hasn't done it. Maybe he will, but so far nothing. And many people were speculating that he was going to show up at the Bitcoin conference, but he didn't. So maybe he's taking a bit of a back seat this time around, and we'll see. We'll see. Elon sometimes has a lot of surprises. Now, Kamala Harris's team, there's a lot of reports and a lot of talks that her team is looking into crypto. They want to know what the hell is going on because, of course, Gensler and Elizabeth Warren are taking a thrashing. The Democrats are taking a thrashing in public perception, not to mention Gary Gensler is taking losses in courts. And the report from the Financial Times actually highlighted that the team met with Coinbase, Ripple, and Andreessen Horowitz and so forth, three of the big donors who raised over $200 million for the Fair Shake Super PAC. So some good signals here, but talk is cheap. Meetings and just saying stuff and putting out articles is cheap. And they need to show action. We need to see a clear plan. We need to see Gary Gensler kicked out, and even a tone shift coming out from Kamala herself. It needs to come from her, not some random Joe Schmo and her team, but it needs to come from her that we're going to embrace crypto. We're going to try to get regulations through and yada, yada, right? So we need to see this. And a good sign, another good sign here being reported by Dan Spuller of the Blockchain Association. He says, Operation Reset update. Two sources this evening at Capitol Hill Club informed me that Roy Cooper, who's a congressman out of North Carolina, pro-CBDC and anti-crypto stance absolutely played a role in costing him the vice president nod, meaning that he would run with Kamala Harris. And Dan says, at the time when Kamala Harris is now actively courting our industry, Cooper's veto last month of the overwhelmingly bipartisan HB 690 bill in Raleigh was a factor. So this is a great sign. She said, I'm not going to have this Roy Cooper guy, and a big part of that is because he's anti-crypto and he's pro-CBDC. Most likely this dude is an Elizabeth Warren crony, so part of her anti-crypto army, but they're dropping like flies. I mean, just the other day I reported to you guys Roger Marshall backed out of the crypto ban bill from Elizabeth Warren, which was a huge loss for her because he was the co-sponsor. So guys, we're seeing some positive signs here, but for the Democrats, need to see more action because they got a lot of ground to make up here because they absolutely screwed up by letting Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler really hurt this industry, and now they're going to feel it. So let's see what they can pull off. At the end of the day, crypto should not be a partisan issue. Both Democrats and Republicans should support it. Now here, Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer of Coinbase, says, we need Congress to act on sensible legislation for crypto. Republicans and Democrats in the House did their part with Fit 21. Now is the time for the Senate to do the same. He says, the Senate Agriculture Committee and especially its bipartisan leadership deserve credit for working on this even in the middle of a complex politics of an election. But politics shouldn't slow roll further progress. We can still get this done this year. Guys, it would be amazing if this FIT21 bill combined with Senator Lummis and Gillibrand's version makes it through the Senate this year. That will be so bullish with the market. It would obviously still has to have to make its way to the president, but guys, the big hurdle is the Senate. Not a lot of stuff makes it through the Senate, and the House is actually it's easier to get stuff through there, and that no one saw that happening this year. So, guys, could we see it happen this year through the Senate? It's possible. I think it's highly probable, especially because of the campaign money that's been raised. Once again, crypto has the largest super PAC in this election cycle. Out of all the issues that we're dealing with, crypto has the largest super PAC. Guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo, which is one of the top tier crypto custodians in the crypto industry. It's headed up by Mike Belshi, who's a Web 1.0, 2.0 legend. And BitGo works with big companies like Bitstamp Exchange, Pantera Capital, Bitcoin IRA. Some of the services they have include hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. So if you'd like to learn more about BitGo, go to bitgo.com, link in the description. Now, guys, a lot of people are talking about this and they're speculating a bit, but we saw that the United States government moved the $2 billion of Bitcoin they have. And this happens just 2 days after Trump's and RFK speech. So I don't know what's happening here. Some people are speculating they're going to dump this, but I don't know that yet. And in fact, what we saw, they split the 2 billion into 2 addresses. So I don't know if they're doing a bit of housekeeping here, right? But we'll see. Hopefully they're not dumping, but if they are, it's not a big deal. This is nothing. It's just like Germany. It was nothing. It sucks. I don't get me wrong. Like, I believe the United States should keep this and start building their treasury reserve with Bitcoin, as Donald Trump and RFK proposed, but they're not in power, obviously, right? Biden is still in office and so forth. And Kamala Harris is the next candidate. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right now, I'd say it's too early to judge this. Until they start selling, then I'm going to, be like, okay, we got to be careful with the market here because it could definitely cause some sell pressure. Right now, people are just speculating. But the facts that we can report is they split the 2 billion into 2 addresses. So we shall see, my friends. All right, moving ahead, the SEC is getting sued by the industry again. I love this. We've talked a lot about punching back at the bully and Gary Gensler and tying them up in so much litigation that it makes their head spin. We see that the industry is no longer laying down, no longer letting the SEC bully them. Everybody who's getting sued is countersuing. Even new exchanges, new platforms are coming out saying, hey, we're not even going to launch it. We're going to sue you. Tell us what is a security and what's not. So here, a couple of folks are suing the SEC regarding NFTs because, the SEC went after Stoner Cats and different NFT projects suing them. It's ridiculous. It's just JPEGs, right? So Brian Fryer says, today, Song Day Man, and this is the guy who does the songs on about crypto, especially like SEC and Gary Gensler. And he says, and I sued the SEC in Louisiana federal court asking for a declaration that the SEC can't regulate the sale of NFT art. I've argued that the SEC is abusing its authority for years, and now I'm testing my theory. Here's the complaint, and you link to it and so forth. And Jason Gottlieb, who's the lawyer that's representing them, he actually represented the folks in the Deadbox case. So, Gary, a familiar face coming to see you again. He says, proud to present my client and friend Brian Fry in his brave and unfortunately necessary lawsuit against the SEC. Art is not a security, and artists working in a digital medium should not have to hire expensive securities lawyers just to release their art. He's absolutely right here. All right, let's move ahead. 21 shares see ETH integrates Chainlink proof of reserve to increase transparency. So a couple of things here. We're seeing some upgrades to the Ethereum ETF from 21 shares, but they're using Chainlink. And guys, I'm bullish on Chainlink. Many of you know I hold it link in my portfolio. I made some nice money off of this in 2020 when it rallied, and I bought the dips, and I believe this is going to perform well. But that's not financial advice. I don't have a crystal ball. After doing my research and educating myself, that's my take, but I'm diversified. So even if Link doesn't perform well, I have other coins that can make me money. But really big adoption here of Chainlink because you have an actual ETF issuer that is using it. So this is not some like, random DeFi project or something, or some NFT project. And not to say there's something wrong with that, but rather there are levels to this, right? If you have a big institutional Ethereum ETF on the open market, and it's using Chainlink proof of reserve on the Ethereum mainnet to enhance transparency, that's pretty bullish. So pretty big news here for Chainlink. And if you guys hold Link in your portfolio, let me know. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this news. Don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter, guys. It's on Substack. Link will be in the description. Check out my latest article on crypto's Overton window shifting, guys. It's an important concept that you need to understand in what's happening with crypto. Also, be sure to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto, on Amazon. It's available in paperback and in digital. It's also available on Barnes & Nobles. Guys, grab a copy for yourself. Grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. It's important for them to have the knowledge. It provides tips for investing in crypto. It talks about what the future looks like. So it's not just about the investment, but how is it going to change their lives? How are industries going to adopt this technology, and much more? And if you bought a copy already, friends, please leave a rating and a review for me. It would really help my rankings. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.